this is Africa.
Yeah.
People who rule Africa are very intelligent. I don't need to use an LGBTQ law to say, if I really want to get rid of you, I can just do it if I'm the leader. I don't really need any explanation to do it.
Exactly.
Because number one, it would be, just think about this. And it's not a good argument for Malema. He's saying that Bobby Wine, for an example, Museveni can say What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again on another episode of the Repat Podcast. Today, we're missing the majority of our staff. Jonita is going for the Easter break, and Maintain is still celebrating his happy 87th birthday. But standing in the gap today is my good brother, Outer Brian. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah. Outer Brian here. Good friend to O'Shea, Ugandan, content creator, whatever you want to call it. Gynecologist. Yeah. Great time.
And part-time pastor.
Yeah, part-time pastor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So recently there's a video, and obviously you're quite popular on TikTok.
Yeah, sure.
But I've seen this because the EFF, which is, I think it's the Economic Freedoms Fighter Party. I don't know, I'm probably wrong about that, but that's the party of Julius Malema, which is one of the opposition parties to the ruling party, the ANC.
Yeah.
But recently they came out and they pretty much wrote a letter, but pretty much bashing Ugandan President Museveni for passing this anti-LGBTQ bill. But at first it wasn't coming from Julius Malema.
Yeah.
Now we have video evidence of Julius Malema really trying to give it to Museveni behind it. And I saw that you made a video about it, but let me kind of play the video and then we'll come back.
All those parliamentarians who passed that bill in Uganda, shame on them. They must know that they are going to be killed themselves. One day, with this law, Museveni can wake up and say Bobby Wine is gay. Not because he's gay, but because he's disagreeing with him politically. He just says he's gay. According to law, he must be killed. He's going to use this law to kill his political opponents, and he must be stopped, now. So, fighters, there is nothing that we are doing that is anti-African. African means allowing everybody in Africa to be who they are without passing judgment. We are not less Africans by supporting our own children, by supporting our own brothers and sisters. We are standing here and we are proud Africans. Don't make Africanism look like barbarism.
Pastor Outer Brian, how do you feel about the, because you made a video on the TikTok about it, but how do you feel about it yourself?
Me personally, I don't even know, because I find it strange that this Julius Malema has gone ahead to protest on behalf of Ugandans. That's the most strange thing. He is protesting in his country.
Yes.
On behalf of Ugandans. Like, that's the first stage of confusion.
Yes.
Then, the other stage of confusion is how, I believe this is not a major issue that they should be worried about right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because South Africa, I believe, has more issues that they need to focus on them as a country before they think about Uganda.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You know very well South Africa. We all know what goes on there. Recently, I think it was I don't know which year was it. These guys who had xenophobic attacks on Africans.
Yes.
Imagine. South Africans were attacking fellow Africans. And remember, it wasn't the black Africans. I mean, of course, they have the blacks and the whites.
Yes.
It was the blacks who were attacking fellow African, the blacks.
Yes.
So really, that is already another stage of worry. Like that's what they should be focusing on.
Yes.
Yes. They have issues. They have racism. Those guys, it's like they are still, I don't know how I can phrase it. They are still being ruled in their country. It's like the whites own the country. Because they control, they have the best, they control, they have the occupied best land. They have, like, they still rule them in their country.
Right.
Yeah. So they're not even yet African enough to come out to start protesting about this LGBT, like as if it's the only.
Yeah.
It's just strange from the start.
It's a very good point. I didn't think about it like that. And another thing, I'm looking at just the visuals of Julius Malema. By the way, he's one of the guys that I have a lot of respect for intellectually, just on what he talks about. He's a genius. There's a few guys up there right now in the modern Pan-African world that, you have Professor PLO Lumumba in Kenya. There is Dr. Umar Johnson, and there's Julius Malema. There are other guys, but Julius Malema is a brilliant man. However, it was a little bit interesting to see him. Now, he himself is, from what I understand, definitely a heterosexual man, and he's draped in the rainbow flag. Like he has it. It's almost like it has covered his whole body.
He has been engulfed in it.
Yeah, he's engulfing in it, right? And this is not the first time. Mulema doesn't like Museveni at all. He's a very big advocate for Bobby Wine. Like Malema, you would almost think he hates Museveni, which is probably why I've never seen Malema or heard of him being in Uganda. Has he ever been here?
I've never heard about him coming this side.
Yeah. So that's one thing. But I'm going to just kind of address some of the arguments that he's talking about. One of the positions he puts out there is, if they pass this law, anybody can be killed. So this is another way of using that law against his political opponents. That's his position. But this is Africa.
Yeah.
People who rule Africa are very intelligent. I don't need to use an LGBTQ law to say, if I really want to get rid of you, I can just do it if I'm the leader. I don't really need any explanation to do it. Exactly. Because number one, it would be, just think about this. And it's not a good argument for Malema. He's saying that Bobby Wine, for an example, Museveni can say that he's gay and to arrest him. Clearly, we would know that he can't beat him with that stick. Yeah, that's something that he just can't do because it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Everybody know Bobby Wine is not gay. So I think Malema is using that to prove his point with a bad argument, when really, if Museveni wanted to get rid of Bobby Wine, our political opponent, he's very divisive. I think like the Sun, from what I understand, somebody tried to poison the Sun before at a bar. So there are different ways. How many ways can you kill somebody if you want to? There are many ways.
There are so many ways.
Yeah, I can leverage anything against you. I can say that, you have this sort of stuff on whatever. I don't need to use a gay argument if I want to just leverage something against you to be the case. So that's a bad argument in my honest opinion. It's very weak. Secondarily, he talks about Africa should be able to express themselves
the way they want.
Yeah, the way they want, right? Okay, so if Africa should be able to express themselves in the way they want, let's look at countries that's not so far from. Look at Sudan. What is the law about homosexuality in Sudan?
They don't accept homosexuality.
Why is that?
What I know, majority of African countries, they don't agree with homosexuality.
Okay, so Malema has been to Sudan, I'm pretty sure. Malema has also been to Egypt. He's also been to Morocco. He's also probably been to Mauritania. These are countries that are Muslim. And we know that the Islam, it's a no-go for homosexuality.
Exactly.
Yes. So now the question is for me, why would Malema address that the fact that these Africans in Uganda needs to be able to express themselves if they're gay, But then when you talk about Morocco, Algeria, and Sudan, these countries who are against homosexuality have been there before he was born. You're not even talking about them. Why would you single out Uganda? Because you have other countries that have this as a law. There's a death sentence for that. So why single out this country in particular when you're saying nothing about the other countries that have been doing it before you were born?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you think about, you can go ahead and take from there.
So, okay, for now, because me personally, I've had respect for Malema. I've watched a lot of interviews of his.
Yes.
And he's actually a sensible guy.
Yes.
Yeah. What he has been speaking, and most of what he speaks, he agrees. I agree. It's just on this issue is where we are finding some controversy. Actually, because when I posted the video,
yes,
I went through and I read the comments. I realized that most people were also shocked. They were like, wait, is this Julius Malema?
Yes.
Yeah, like they couldn't believe. Because everyone thought he's this guy, like the good guy that we all know.
Yes.
But on this issue, we are seeing a whole other side of him.
Yes.
So, what came to my mind, first of all, I don't know, maybe I should first ask you, do you think he could have been paid, or there's an agenda he's trying to push? Because there's that option.
And I do want to return back to South Africa one day. And
when the way he was holding that flag with the passion.
Right. And again, you let me kind of get back to that's a great question.
Okay.
But to get back to the point that you made, there are many things in Uganda, like there was a shooting in 2020 during the election,
2021,
where people were killed.
People are killed.
Are there
Plenty
other
of people? Yes,
there are other things. And to be fair, he has criticized Museveni for staying in power for too long and things like that, or whatever he may. He has. I never really hear Museveni responding to Malema, but I do hear Malema taking shots at Museveni almost all the time. Not all the time, but enough for me to remember that it's been more than once.
Yeah, sure. So
Uganda has I want to do an episode on the KCCA where the roads. Uganda's gonna take a $650 million from the World Bank to repair these roads that need to be happening just in Kampala, and that's gonna stop a lot of business and commerce going on. There are a lot of problems that are happening here.
Exactly.
And I think that with Mulema, if he was as adamant for some of the other issues that I see the Ugandan brothers and sisters going through every day, then maybe I would be able to accept his, what I would believe is his real concern, honestly, about this LGBTQ agenda. But it seems that I don't hear or have any evidence of Mr. Mulema talking about the other issues that I see local Ugandans going through every single day. Inflation, other problems, hard to get money. He doesn't talk about those things. But in this thing, he's draped himself in the LGBTQ flag, right?
To a level of protesting, organizing protests. Can you imagine?
Yes, right? So now, for me, and I don't know Mr. Mulema at all or anybody in the EFF, and I like generally what he has to say. For him to do so, it would have seemed to me to have that organized rally like that. I just can't believe he put the money up himself to do that. It would appear for me that somehow, I personally believe there was an incentive for that behavior.
Yeah, sure.
'Cause I just cannot see Mr. Mulema knowing that he is like the child of Africa that everybody's looking up to. He's the future, from the Youth ANC League to the EFF, and you're gonna get a lot of criticism for doing this, and you're gonna lose a lot of support from a lot of blacks. You can't do that without some level, in my opinion, of incentivization. I don't know where it came from. I can't prove it, but that is the level of incentivization that I've not seen.
Same here. The way this guy just came out of the blue. I mean, Uganda has a lot of other issues. Uganda is always crying out. We cry to the European countries. We cry out whenever we're having issues here in the country, political. First of all, us here, we know very well that we can't protest. Right. Even if we wanted to protest, you know what happens. They just track you down and you... So much as we would also like to protest against, but we can't. So
for certain things.
Yeah, for certain things.
Yeah. Because they're going to believe that you want to go out there and put the flag on too. But
So, Julius Malema, nah, this whole thing is weird. There must be, I believe, there is something backing him up to come up and start protesting. Like,
can it be controversial then?
Yeah.
Because if he is good friends
with Bobby Wine,
right? So now, let me throw it out there.
feel free.
But so then my question would be, if Mr. Mulema feels this way, and he is advocating for Bobby Wine to be, at some point, he wants Bobby Wine to be the leader of Uganda. That's what he says. Then the real question would be, how does Bobby Wine, and we know that Bobby Wine has a really good relationship with the West. He's young. He's people that somebody likes. And I'm not saying that he agrees or not, but what does Bobby Wine have to say about this particular issue and where is his stance on it? Because he can either lose or gain.
Exactly.
So if this is Mulema saying this in the opposition, what does Bobby Wine feel?
And there are a lot of people who have been putting him on the spot.
Yes.
Trying to find out his view.
Yes.
But I think a while back, he made it clear that he was against it.
Yes.
Yeah, though of recent, these days, he hasn't yet come out clearly. Yeah, whenever he's asked in interviews, he's not so clear. So we are also there left hanging.
Right.
But at least what we are sure of, President Museveni Kaguta made it clear.
Yes.
That he doesn't condone. He said he doesn't condone.
Right.
Although, right now as we speak, he's still pending. He's still pending to sign. To sign. Uh-huh. So, and it has actually taken him a while because it was passed to him. The anti-gay bill was passed to him quite a while back. But as we speak right now, he hasn't yet signed. He just comes on the interviews. He says, I'm going to sign it. Or he says, I'm going to talk to the doctors and do some research.
Yes.
So even our president, as we speak, he's also not clear.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ugandans also wondering, like, what's happening? Yeah, but I think because of the threats and, the Europeans were threatening to cut aid and all that. So when you look at it as, I think he's also thinking twice before he makes a final decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this. And again, I know, and I'm trying to say this with caution, right? As blacks, we do need to hold each other to task. And I know that many people would consider what the law is. Because I watched a really good debate on NTV about gay rights. It was awesome. Somebody who was in favor of it and somebody who wasn't. It was an awesome debate. Maybe we can cover it maybe this Sunday. But the thing that I want to know in general is with what Africa is trying to achieve right now. You know, we've had situations where Uganda, Kenya border, the border is closed.
Yeah.
Or Uganda, Rwanda border is closed. Or Uganda, Congolese border is closed, which are South Sudan border, whatever, right? Because of whatever political misunderstandings happening between those players in that particular region, right? So Africa is already on edge as it is.
Yeah.
Ugandans, I believe, now can go to South Africa without a visa. Is it true?
I'm not really sure.
We should go party before this video comes out. Yeah. So then it would seem to me that with Africa trying to, and I've made this mistake too, you know, coming out and let's say, for example, saying something to a brother. But now, if you don't, like, for example, I'm a Christian and you're not, right? I don't feel as though like I need to come out because I feel, and I'm just using the examples, not similar or is it equal, but it's similar, not equal. Because what Malema's argument revolves around is that of a human rights issue.
Yeah, human rights.
That sexuality, people are born like that. And that could be an argument for whoever wants to get into it. I might get into that. And if you discriminate against them as an African, you're not allowing them to be themselves. That is a human rights violation. Okay? Now, if I really am understanding that other countries in Africa have that same thing, and I'm not going to address them.
Yeah.
But because I don't like Museveni, I'll address him.
Exactly.
It will make more sense that, you know what? That is Uganda. That is what the people would like. I may not like it, but the people, obviously from what I've seen in Uganda, for many people, I'm not saying that those were against it, but you just see some people was praising the president. Black Americans are like, I want to move to Uganda now. There's so many people who want, like, and I'm not discriminating against anybody, but the LGBTQ in America has gotten so much so that it's permeating the school system into the society. And people are not
teaching kids now.
There you go. So now people are saying, I don't even have control of my own child because agenda is so strong.
And it's everywhere now.
It's everywhere. So it's either I go to a Muslim country or what's the last Christian country standing that gives you some freedom, which is Uganda. So why does Malema have to come out and publicly say these things? If you feel as though, because nothing's going to change at the end of the day, exactly. You coming out and blasting Uganda about their decision, it's only going to create this dissension between the two countries, if anything, right? And then secondarily, why couldn't I just, if I feel like I don't like something, I would rather leave it behind the scenes, because the thing about, as he's saying, Africans have the right to live how they want.
Yeah, sure.
But the other Africans have the right to live how they want in the majority. Those people who say that I live this lifestyle, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, or these are my values. What about the devout? The devout have their right, because most people in Africa are religious.
Yeah.
So if their religion dictates that they don't believe that is the case, where is their autonomy in the decision? So I don't know why he would come out and say that based with other things, but I think that for me, trying to work with Uganda, and he's not in the majority seat like the ANC is.
Yeah, sure.
Right, they're minority seat. But it would just seem he would have kept it to himself. As the Africa Free Trade Agreement is happening, all these other things.
As other things are moving.
Yes, let's keep that to ourselves. We agree to disagree, but let's let this Africa Free Trade Agreement, other things come together. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I don't know. First of all, these guys are always hiding behind human rights. I don't know how, at what point we say, okay, these are human rights. Okay, like every day, like something new is always coming up.
Right.
Like you see in the, so me personally, I wouldn't be shocked to find in the nearby future when people start having sex with animals or committing, what do they call it? Or we have coming up. Because when you start saying everything is a human right, then at what point do we say, okay, now this is the limit, let's not go beyond this? Because they all hide behind human rights.
Right.
You've heard of coming up, even us, we have rights. Then, so I think at one point, let's just have a limit. And this agenda, at the end of the day, when we try to look at it as the bigger picture, you realize there's some sort of, should I say, just agenda that is coming out. Because all this is originating from one place, the States, majorly. Because they're the ones who, and these guys want to enforce, they want to make sure that they enforce it on everybody else. Yeah, so us as Africans, we don't have any liberty to choose what we want and what. Because the president has tried to make it clear that you guys, okay, if you guys want your it's okay, but keep it yourselves.
Right.
But these guys want to push it into us, whether we like it or not. And when we don't agree with them, they say, you're not respecting human rights. And they're even willing to go further, like as far as cutting aid. Yeah, that's why actually I admire these other countries, those Arabic countries, Qatar, because those guys don't tolerate that.
Right.
You heard about it on the World Cup when these Americans were trying to throw their agenda somehow there. And those guys were like, no, here we don't tolerate. When you're done, we are just having the event. And after that, you guys will go back and do your that side. But here we don't.
Yeah.
So I like the way they took their stance and they're like,
Yeah.
but us, they think these Americans come to Africans because first of all, they know we are kind of weak, like we're unable to support ourselves, like financially, we need the aid.
Right.
So they use that opportunity to come and terrorize us. Yeah, so unfortunately. But we should do our best. As you can see, when the president was like, I like the president's decision because of recent, he was like, they usually bully us, but this time was like, no. Well, if you want to take your aid, take it. Like, people are more determined this time round. Like, we have had it for so long and people are tired. Yeah, we are now ready to fight back.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that, again, with Mulema, and I think like, let me just ask you this. Because there are some people that say that, okay, homosexuality, I heard this argument on NTV, that there is no evidence that this slows down things in the economy. There's no evidence that people who are gay are also like predators. That doesn't mean they abuse children and things like that. And then one of the arguments I heard was, well, we're not living in the world by ourselves. We're living with people who would come and visit us, but because if we pass that law, then these people won't visit us. Like we're isolating ourselves from the world. When you hear those arguments, what do you think about that?
They have to respect their values. You see someone who smokes weed here in Uganda, if he goes to Dubai, he will know that if he's to smoke there, weed, he's going to face jail time.
Yes.
Here you can smoke, even if they get you, they can just you can bribe yourself out, maybe and just leave. But that side, the laws are so strict.
Right.
So I cannot be smoking my weed here. Then I go there saying that I have my rights. Respect, there's that popular saying whereby they say when you go to Rome, you do as Romans do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if us here in Uganda, we have said we don't want,
Right.
why would you insist that you want to? I think there's room for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. Those who feel like they should be go to their, if it's legal in America, let them go to America. Yeah, you can't come to Uganda whereby it's illegal. Or you can come, but
you cannot
make
practice.
sure you don't practice. Do what you want. If you want to tour, just come and tour and go back.
Right.
There's nothing there. I don't see reason why we should fight each other.
Right.
Just simple respect. Each one should respect their values.
And I think that with other African countries, being that this is Africa, and knowing that you have a common, because South Africa and there was the crown there, the British crown, and they're both colonized, South Africa and Uganda. You would think that sometimes if I disagree with something that somebody is doing, if I'm a leader or I have influence, I would want Africa as any country to have autonomy to do it like to behave in the way it is for themselves. I think what Malema's point is this. Museveni, and this is not me saying this.
It's Malema.
Mulema saying this. His idea is this. Museveni probably still shouldn't be in the office, right? Yeah. So the fact that his parliament or people that's sympathetic to him, parliament has passed this, that it shouldn't be going down in the first place because of the stay-in power of the president.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to say. Like, so we're not moving along with the times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I would say to that is, regardless of if you like what the situation is, it is what it is, you know?
It is what it is.
Yeah. Just like you mentioned it before, South Africans in the same vanity, the whites are still running their entire economy.
Exactly.
Since the ANC, and they've had, a non-apartheid government at least since 1994. So we've seen 29 years of that particular government, and I haven't heard Museveni say anything about what's going on in South Africa. That's just for sure. Yeah, I've never heard Museveni, at least on record, come out, and he has said some things maybe before, but not about them.
Yeah.
Never heard Museveni say the ANC, as a political party, should be out of what? Out of power. Because they're corrupt. Even if they change presidents, I've never heard him say it.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because he's not concerned about what they're doing.
He minds his business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that for Africa as a whole, for us to really try to come together, if the country that is there, because there's so many powers in the world that we don't have what we have. There's so many things that we could be focused on instead of, I would say, African leaders calling each other out for something that they feel is, a devout right or devout principle. I get what he feels is a human right, but that is not what the leader feels, and it's not what. And I get the gist from the people that I talk to, because I'm an American. I feel like people will be a little bit more free with me, because I know I've heard about situations where, people don't want to talk about politics because a person could just ask you something and then that person go report you to police.
Or themselves, they might be undercover.
Yeah. So, but I feel like with somebody like myself, they could, express their opinions a little bit more freely.
Yeah.
And I've never met anybody, and I've been coming here for a long time, who wants homosexuality legalized in you. I've met thousands of people. And when you come across this subject, they're all like, no. Even if they've lived in the West, like, no. So I feel like Malema has to understand that, you're infringing on the rights of people who feel like this is not what they want. And obviously there's some people here who do want that or are afraid to say it. I get that. But again, Uganda and South Africa have to look at the bigger picture. Uganda wants to trade with South Africa, right?
Yeah.
The Africa Free Trade Agreement. Politics is a strange bedfellow, right? That's what the terminology is. So if I know that you don't like atheism because you don't believe in God, okay, but we have two different countries. I'm not gonna criticize you because you feel like that. It's fine. You don't agree with that? What do we agree on? Yeah?
Let's focus on that.
Yes. So Africa has to start to stand more in solidarity and start, hey, let's come together. What can we do? Oh, you feel like that? All right, look, let's keep the doors open for future business opportunities or whatever you do to help people. We'll stay over here on our side on that issue. You'll stay over there. But what can we agree on so that you don't have Ugandans in South Africa or whoever else are feeling, unsafe possibly? What about,
Wow, what can I say? I would love to. I agree with what you're saying. I think as Africans, we should find common ground where we can all agree on. Because already there have been a lot of things that have been trying to keep us apart from each other.
Yes.
But let's focus on. I believe we have a lot more pending issues. Now imagine that protest was about, let's say, the kidnappings and torture that take place in Uganda. Imagine South Africa was protesting against that. On
your behalf.
Trust me, Ugandans would be up and Ugandans would be like, wow.
Right.
We have brothers who look
care about our issues.
Who really care about issues. But of all issues and problems, you decided to pick something that everyone is just... People don't agree. You get? So, at the end of the day, I don't know. Julius Malema, much as he's a big person, but me, I just look at him as just another politician.
Right.
Politicians, again, are very tricky people at the end of the day. If it was coming from somebody else, let's say just some ordinary citizen who decided to rise up, and then we would try to understand. But Julius already is a politician, and we all know what politicians do. Yeah, but the stance is Ugandans, I think I've made their point clear. Ugandans, if you walk anywhere, everyone will tell you the same thing.
Everything. Yeah. I've never heard anybody else say anything different.
We speak the same language. We are against. So if you think you can go and protest on our behalf, please protest. It's good they are protesting from there because trust me, even South Africans who are here living in Uganda can't think of protesting.
Oh no.
Yeah, they can't. So let them protest and
yeah.
By the end of the day, first of all, before we even move forward, South Africa. Me, I have never been to South Africa, but what I know, South Africa has the most beautiful ladies when it comes to Nyash.
Are you sure?
When it comes to Nyash, I see them on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are a lot of.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen. You share our videos.
Yeah.
So we'll try to do a podcast in South Africa, hopefully, without being beat up, because South Africa is real. Because our brothers out there, listen, we are just giving a point of view. Gunshots! We don't want y'all to shoot us like that. We know y'all real out there, right? We know that y'all is really with y'all like African Americans. Y'all real. We know like y'all can get with the stuff. Ugandans can get you too. Don't get me wrong, right? Because if y'all come over here with that stuff that Malema's talking about, you're gonna immediately gonna get dealt with, like almost certainly.
Yeah.
But no, we're glad that we can talk about this. And again, we're all for Africa, for the Black world. We all don't agree on the same issues, but for those who do agree on issues, let us respect them where they're at. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I don't know what to say after that, but subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.